This is an updated video on how to change your Zoom settings. I know a lot more now than I did before, so I'm going to better be able to articulate what all your settings do and why you want to have them set a certain way. So first of all, if you're working on the downloaded app of Zoom, you're going to go to Home and you're going to see the settings wheel in the upper right hand corner and you're going to want to click on it. There's not very many settings here because you need to view more settings. This is going to take you to the web-based app for the settings, which looks like this. Popped up on my other screen. Sorry about that. And so it's going to take you to the website where you're going to want to log in with your email. And once you're logged in, you'll see over here we're on settings, and this is going to have a massive settings tab. So we're going to go through what all of this means. So first of all, security, we've got waiting room. You want to turn that on. You don't want people to just be joining without you approving them one at a time. This will also help you take attendance. So you can print out a roster from IC of your students. You can wait for the first 5 minutes of class to pass. Everyone will populate in the waiting room. You can customize your waiting room message for students. The way that you're going to do that is right up here, not down here. It says add a waiting room description. They will not see this. You want to edit, and you can say something like, please wait at least 5 minutes for me to add you. I'm taking attendance. And then the students will see that message. You could say, please do not leave the waiting room while you wait. So that's really nice. So then you can take attendance and you can press admit all on the waiting room and it will populate everyone. Or if you prefer to do one at a time in case anyone's being naughty, doing inappropriate behavior, you can kick them out right away. So that's nice. So let's continue. The locked by admin, these settings were locked by the Zoom administration back when we went on lockdown because all the teachers were using Zoom and they were having issues with Zoom bombing and other things. So we can't change these, and they're not locked by our school administrator, they're locked by Zoom. Really quick, if you want to change your passcode for meetings, you can see I did that right here where I used my last name. You can, or you can just leave it whatever they preset your passcode to be. If you come down here, embed passcode in invite link for one-click join. That's kind of nice because you're able to send everybody out an invite that already has everything embedded so they don't have to add their password. Coming down here, only authenticated users can join the meeting. You want to make sure kids are logging into their Zoom account with their school email address and that they're joining with their school email address, which can be authenticated. You don't want them logging in through their parents' account or through a random one time, they're joining using the web-based app. You want them to be authenticated. That's going to help you control the Zoom bombing a little bit. Same thing here. Only authenticated users can join from the web client. Okay, start meetings with the host video on. This is a preference. I prefer to start with my video on so kids can see me. I can say hello. Participants video. You may or may not want kids to join with their video on. As what our admin has told us, students need to have their video on for attendance and then they can turn it off if they wish. So it sounds to me like they need to join with their videos on. So that's just set to default to turning the video on if it's possible. Next we have, let's see, audio type. We just leave it to telephone and computer. Join before the host is a no. You do not want to activate that. Kids can talk to each other, bully each other, do other things when you're not present. You want them to have to wait in the waiting room until you arrive. Enable personal meeting ID. Up to you. Doesn't matter to me. Mute participants upon entry. This is good. I like to set meeting norms where you're going to be muted. I'm going to periodically ask if anyone has questions, which at that time is an appropriate time for you to unmute yourself if you wish. And or there's going to be a section down below where they can use what's called reactions or like emojis to signal a raised hand. So I like to have everyone muted upon entry, and then I can call on kids to unmute themselves, or I can unmute them, and you can establish that as a norm. You are not supposed to unmute yourself. Only I can unmute you. You have to raise your hand, and I have to call on you first. Upcoming meeting reminder. Again, this is a preference. I actually don't have my Zoom connected to my Gmail, So I don't actually get meeting reminders, but you might want to. It's up to you. Most of my meetings are scheduled as reoccurring meetings, which don't have a day and time. So I don't get meeting reminders unless I have one that is scheduled at a specific day and a specific time, which are pretty unique. So I'm going to leave that turned on so that when those do happen, those unusual ones that are a specific meeting, I'll get a reminder. But you can turn it off if you don't want reminders. Require encryption for third-party endpoints. Right now, this isn't turned on. I didn't turn it on. If things should change and we would need to turn it on, I will do a new video and let you know. Chat. Here's the deal with this. Chat, private chat. Private chat doesn't work like you think. You're not, well, sorry, I take that back. Private chat does allow students to send messages to each other. You don't want that. They can bully each other. You do want to allow the chat. I know what you're thinking. Well, they can still bully each other. No. Inside of Zoom, once you start a meeting, there will be a chat box that you can click on. Once you've clicked on the chat box, you as the host have a drop-down menu that can choose participants can chat with no one, participants can chat with host, or participants can chat with everyone. So depending on what you're trying to do that day, I generally like to have it participants can chat with host, so they can ask me questions, only I see the questions and I can respond. If they're going to chat with everyone, they might say something inappropriate, and I can't take that down. So in the private chat, again, you don't want these kids chatting with just each other where you're not able to monitor or see or get rid of what they're saying to one another. So if you enable chat, that doesn't mean without boundaries. You still have inside of Zoom, once the chat's been enabled, the option to only let people chat with you, to chat with no one, not you, not each other, or to chat with everyone. And that's a little drop-down menu, and it's really simple. So I turn this on, and then once I start the Zoom session, I change it to participants can only chat with the host. I like to prevent participants from saving the chat only because the context is everything. There might be something that is said that a kid then saves and uses out of context, which is not what you were talking about, what you were saying. It's a liability thing. So I'm just preventing everyone from being able to save the chat because I don't want there to be an issue there. You can record the sessions yourself if you want, and then delete them afterwards if there's no incident. If you want to be able to record something being said or done that's inappropriate. So if you're worried about being able to save the chat so that you can record something, or so that you can have evidence of something happening, you could always record these videos, then delete them if you don't need the recording. Private chat's a no. Auto-saving chat, I'm not going to save the chat. Sound notification when someone joins or leaves. I kind of like this, but on the same hand, what if there's massive connectivity issues and kids are coming and going like a dozen times because they keep getting kicked off the internet? This could become really annoying. File transfer. I have this turned on because I don't know if I'm going to need to drop like a file into my Zoom to transfer to the students. I might want them to do a quick write on something or do a warm-up, and I just want to drop it. I don't want to upload it to Google Drive. It's not like graded. I just want to drop it in the chat, so I turn that on. Feedback to Zoom, end of meeting experience feedback survey. I'm not really comfortable with the kids submitting their information to Zoom, and I don't know how it's being used, so I turn those off. I enabled co-host, which is a smart thing to do for a number of reasons. If you have a co-teacher, which you'll see in a minute, we have turned off screen sharing for anyone but the host. What if you want a kid to screen share? There's a kid you trust, maybe it's your TA. You want them to screen share something that they have on their screen. You're not worried about them being inappropriate. Well, if you have screen sharing turned off, they can't. By allowing them to be a co-host, they have all the permissions that you as the host have, so they still could screen share. So this is a nice middle ground for not allowing the average student to host, so they're not interrupting your Zoom, but at the same time you have an option for kids to screen share should you want to have them present their like whatever their activity or their whatever they made. So I like to keep that turned on for a number of reasons. Polling, a lot of people keep asking, hey, polling's not showing up. That's because you have to turn it on. So polling will now show up in your menu if you have it turned on. I have the show control bar, toolbar, sorry. Show Zoom windows during screen share. This is really helpful when I'm trying to talk to other teachers about Zoom options, or I'm trying to like show them what I'm seeing on Zoom. Not helpful when I'm trying to work with kids because I don't typically have to show my kids my Zoom windows. So I just left this off, but there you could have it off or on. It's up to you. Here's the screen sharing often. Here's what you want to do. Turn it on, host only. No one can steal your screen. If you want to let a participant show their screen, it's very simple. Under participants, you simply click more and list them as a co-host. They can now, as the host, share their screen. So that's the workaround there for letting kids share their screen without having everyone have this ability and having just chaos break out. Disable desktop screen share for users. This is the big fat no-no. Do not disable or you will not be able to share your screen, your iPad, whatever it is that you're trying to do. I accidentally turned this off thinking, yeah, I don't want the kids to share their screen. That's what this option is for. This one's going to prevent you from sharing your screen, which is weird because you can turn it on even after you've already indicated you want the host to be able to share their screen. So keep this left off. I don't want anyone annotating anything. There could be a good reason to turn this on as you see fit. It's up to you. I like the option of having a whiteboard when I go to share screen, so I can share my iPad, I can share my screen, I can also share a whiteboard. I like having that there. You do not want someone else to be able to take control of the shared content. Leave that off. Nonverbal feedback, meeting reactions. This is where you get the hand raise option. So you want to turn both of these on. Kids can then raise their hand. They can ask you to slow down, speed up, I need a break, all kinds of stuff. So turn those on. The meeting reactions is in the menu toolbar, whereas the nonverbal feedback is specifically under when you click participants and it lists all the participants. So that's why these are separate. Allow removed participants to rejoin. Nope, nope, nope. If I kick a kid out because they're being naughty, I don't want them to be able to get back in with the username and password. Also, what if a kid gives an internet troll their username or password and it's not actually the kid, it's someone else posing as the kid? I don't want them to be able to come back in if I kick them out. Allow participants to rename themselves. Originally, I was okay with this because kids were using their parents' accounts and it was confusing, so I wanted them to rename themselves with their own name. Well, now I don't, now that they're being authenticated, I don't want them renaming themselves. I want their entire real legal name to show because I don't want them naming themselves something inappropriate and offensive. So we just turn that off. Here's another interesting one. Hide participant profile picture in a meeting. Here's why you want to turn this on. If a kid doesn't want to show their video, so they turn off their video, what defaults is whatever image they have set for their Google account. There are no rules here. So we have high school kids who are setting pictures of internet memes, Pepe the Frog, of things that are racially inappropriate or just whatever it is as their image inside of their Google account. And now that's what's going to show full screen when they turn their video off. The alternative is that you could just have, instead of their profile picture showing, you could just have a black screen with their name showing. I would much prefer a black screen with their name showing to an image that I may or may not know what it means and may or may not be offensive to the other students. Okay, this one is a tricky one. I would suggest most people turn this off. If you report a student for being naughty to Zoom instead of your administrators, they might get banned. And then how are they going to attend class? And I mean banned as in permanently. So I have this turned on so that when I have non-student meetings, if someone does something that's not appropriate, I can report them to Zoom. But with students, I would not use this feature. This is really risky. Breakout rooms and remote support. Okay, these two go together, and let me show you why. Watch me try to turn on one-on-one support. Won't let you because you have breakout room turned on. This is an either or. You pick one or the other. So you're going to want to turn on breakout rooms and turn off remote support. Now, you want to allow the host to assign participants to breakout rooms when scheduling. So if you want to plan ahead and you have a list of kids that are going to be in specific groups and you don't want to have to do it in the moment while you're on the Zoom because it's too much to organize 36 kids in the moment, when you schedule the Zoom, you can set up who the groups are going to be. So I turn that on. This remote support is not what it seems. Allow meeting host to provide one-on-one remote support to another participant. It actually allows the participant to come to your, it's weird. It's not what it looks like. It's not this wonderful one-on-one thing that you think it is. If you want to be able to do one-on-one with a student, do a breakout room where you assign yourself and the student to the breakout room. So keep this one turned on, this one off. Closed captioning, again, this is really up to you what grade level you teach. I don't want to assign one of the students to have closed captioning. I could see the validity of it if that's an accommodation a kid has, but I'm just not going to do it. Therefore, I'm not going to save the captions. Same with language interpretation. Allow host to assign participants as interpreters. Well, yes, if I have students who don't speak that language, that's not typically my problem. I could see a good reason for turning this on. I also could see it being problematic in that if I don't know the language, I can't monitor it. You do not want someone else from a far end controlling your camera. Virtual background you want to turn off because a kid might put in a virtual background, again, of an image that's totally inappropriate or racist. So you don't want them to be able to turn on their virtual backgrounds. It's either a black screen with their name or it's video on. That's it. Video filters, I don't really see the harm in this. This helps you make your face look nicer and prettier, but also I don't know what all our options are for the filters. So I don't know if this could be used against us, but if you turn it on, it makes you look younger. It's kind of nice. Identify guest participants in the meeting webinar. We can skip these. Auto answering group chat, no. Only show default email when sending email invites. A lot of these I just simply don't use, like select stereo audio. Like it just, none of these matter in terms of security to me. Show join from your browser link. So when they get the email, if you're sending emails through like Google Calendar, you can allow participants to bypass the Zoom application download process and just join directly from their browser. I have it turned on for now because I'm assuming there's going to be hiccups where people are going to need to do this. I am going to insist my students download the Zoom app and join from the app. So this is going to be turned off after the first week. The first week, I'm assuming kids are going to have issues. They're not going to be able to download or they're not going to know how. So I'm leaving it on for now. But the understanding being they're supposed to log in to the downloaded app and join from there. I've heard that there's some issues with downloading the app on like Google Chromebook. So again, that's why I'm leaving it on for now. Allow live streaming meetings. I just turn that off. When a cloud recording is available, we get notified. This doesn't matter. You can have it on or off. I just like getting the notification. Most of these it does not matter. Let's see here. And then we're at the very end. So once you've done all those, it's automatically saving all your settings and you are now done. So those are the settings. That's how you add breakout rooms and other things in there that you guys have been asking about. Hopefully this was helpful. And I might have to make another one if they add or change the settings in the future. So there might be a part 4 to this.